Hello friends, in the last video we have seen physical quantities and units, correct? So we need to measure physical quantities, and for that we need to use some measuring instruments, right? Like for example, for measuring length we use a meter scale, or it can be a measuring tape like the one carpenters use, or then some ultrasonic instrument, where I can measure the height of this room, right, where I may not be able to use the meter tape. Okay, so there are different ways, and different ways of measuring lengths and distances. Then you measure mass, you measure time, you measure temperature. But then while making these measurements, there is always some chance of uncertainty. Okay, now what are the sources for these uncertainties? We can say errors can be source of uncertainties. Okay, so what are the types of errors that we can have? Let us take one example. I have a foot scale. Okay, it has got markings of centimeters, and centimeter is further divided into 10 parts. That is 1 millimeter is the least count of that meter rule. Okay, and on the other side, you can have inches over there. Now the question is whether this scale which I am using, is it accurate? Okay, or when I am using an ammeter, okay, the zero of the ammeter, okay, is the pointer coinciding with zero all the time? Okay, sometimes it may not. There may be some error over there. Okay, that error is called zero error. Okay, this error, this is we can call a systematic error. There can be another error because of my skills. I am making the measurements, but then I may not be skilled enough to carry out the measurements, right? So then those errors would be personal errors. Then there can be random errors. Okay, there is one wire like this. There is a wire hung from this rigid support, and some mass is attached to this. Okay, and gradually I am going to increase the masses, and I'll record the length, change in length of the wire. Okay, now just imagine that the room, the lab in which I am carrying out this experiment, okay, the temperature changes. Okay, if the temperature changes, then that may cause change in length of the wire. If the temperature increases, the wire may increase in length, or if the temperature decreases, then that may reduce the wire's length, correct? So whatever measurements that I am doing here, okay, what I am interested in is the change in length of wire due to added weight or reduced weight, isn't it? I don't want anything any change in length because of change in temperature, correct? But then these things are they can be avoided, but still these are the sources of uncertainties in the measurements that we make, correct? So we have to account for it. Okay, another thing, suppose I want to measure the length of this marker. Okay, so what do? I make use of a maybe small meter scale. Okay, or then I may use vernier calipers for that. So when I use vernier calipers, the least count of vernier calipers is smaller than that of my that foot scale, isn't it? Or instead of making use of vernier caliper for measuring the diameter of this marker, okay, I may use a micrometer screw gauge. It has got even smaller least count, correct? Does it mean that the measurement taken by a meter rule, measurement made by a vernier calipers, or the measurement made by a micrometer, okay, which one is accurate? Okay, all the instruments, they are made to certain precision levels, but still you can never be sure about the real value of the quantity, right? So diameter of this marker, okay, if I measure it with a small meter scale, and it may be something like 14 millimeter, okay, with vernier calipers I can get it as 13.9, okay, 13.98 13.9 millimeter. With micrometer I can get it as 13.94, right? So what does it mean? So we never know the actual value. So what do we do for that? There can be personal errors, there can be systematic errors, there can be zero errors, right? there can be random errors. So what do we do for that? We take a number of readings and take arithmetic mean of that, correct, and that is the mean value of that quantity. So what we do is we take number of readings. For example, for this quantity A, okay, I'll take, let us say, 5 readings: A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. These are the 5 readings. What I'll do is I'll add them and then divide them by the number of readings, that is 5 in this case. Okay, so I get something called AM. Now why I write AM? AM is the mean value of A, correct. Now see, my first reading was A1, second was A2, then A3, A4 and A5, and then with those readings I got mean value. Now if I take this difference AM minus A1 and take modulus of that, okay, absolute value, okay, then similarly I do the same thing with A2, A3, A4 and A5. So what I get over here is delta A1. Okay, this delta A1 is called absolute error in measurement of the quantity A. Okay, like that I'll get delta A2, A3 and delta A5 here. So delta A1 is absolute error in A1. Okay, so the difference between the mean value and A1 is the delta is the absolute error in A1, correct. And likewise we have errors, absolute errors in A2, A3, A4 and A5, correct. Now what I do, I'll add these absolute errors, okay, and this is my sigma delta AI, okay, and if I divide that by 5, okay, that will give me mean absolute error. So mean absolute error would be sigma delta AI upon 5. I should be writing n over there, because if n is the number of readings, then that should be that this 5 should be replaced by n. Okay, but then for now I'll keep it simple. Okay, this is mean absolute error. Now again there is something more to that. Okay, this mean absolute error, when I divide that by mean value, okay, so this divided by mean value, that will give me relative error. Okay, so relative error I will call it mean absolute error, correct. So MAE, if I divide that by mean value, then that would give me relative error, and if you multiply this relative error by 100, that would give you percentage error. Okay, so percentage error in A. So that is how we calculate percentage errors in physical quantities. Now let us see what happens when I have when I have combination of physical quantities. I'll explain. So now combination of errors, I'll just write it here. Errors, or I would say uncertainty, okay. So let us have this physical quantity Z, which is a combination of two physical quantities X and Y. Okay, so if my Z is equal to X plus Y, okay, now see, there are chances of having error in measuring X and measuring Y. Okay, so my possible error in X, if we call it delta X, and possible error in Y, if it is delta Y, so it is plus or minus delta X and plus or minus delta Y, correct. Then Z plus or minus delta Z would be equal to X plus or minus delta x plus y plus or minus delta y. So now obviously my z is equal to x plus y. So if I put it x plus y plus or minus delta z would be equal to x plus y plus or minus delta x plus or minus delta y. So obviously this x plus y and this x plus y I can cancel here, and delta z would be plus or minus delta x plus delta y. Now here the maximum error or maximum uncertainty in z would be plus delta x plus delta y. Maximum error I am talking about. Okay, so it would be, so when it is delta z, it would be delta x plus delta y. And why it is delta x plus delta y? Because delta x is positive, delta y is positive, then it is delta x plus delta y. Delta x is negative and delta y is positive, then it will be little less than what it was earlier. Okay, or then delta x is positive and delta y is negative, again it is less than what it was before. And when both are negative, then again obviously they are going to add up. Correct. So we can fairly say that the maximum error, okay, in delta z would be this. So this is for sum and difference. What if I have z is equal to x multiplied by y? Okay, now again delta z, delta x and delta y, if they are if they are the errors in x and y and z, okay, then delta z by z is equal to delta x by x plus delta y by y. Okay, now you would say, how is that possible? Why it is sum of percentage errors? Okay, there is some logic to that. I'll quickly explain it. Z is equal to x y, so z plus delta z would be x plus delta x multiplied by y plus delta y, and then that would be xy plus x delta y plus y delta x plus delta x delta y. Correct. So now z is obviously xy, so xy plus delta z. So now as I did over there, I can cancel this, right? So delta z is equal to so much, and then this quantity delta x and delta y are small quantities, so their product is going to be even smaller, so we can definitely ignore that. Okay, now if I do this delta z upon z, okay, because I want relative error, okay, so that would be x delta y upon, now I have to divide by z, so that is equal to xy plus y delta x upon again xy. So this x gets cancelled here, this y gets cancelled here, and this is how we get the result. Correct. So when it is when your quantity, okay, it is a combination of two sub quantities and there is product, then the percentage or relative errors would be sum of the relative errors in the individual quantities. Okay, now the same, you can apply the same formula for z is equal to x upon y. So even here delta z upon z is equal to delta x upon x plus delta y upon y, right? You can use this formula directly, and an explanation will be given in the explanation for this will be given in the description. Okay, so now if we have product like this, okay, what if my z is equal to x square? I'll use some other color. Let us have z is equal to x square. So is it not x into x. So if I use this, okay, then delta z upon z would be equal to delta x upon x plus delta x upon x. So that would be 2 delta x upon x. Now with this you can also generalize it. Suppose it is z is equal to x raised to power n. So that would be equal to n times delta x upon x. So that is how we calculate percentage error or relative error in measurement of quantities. We will take a numerical problem now. So I have written one problem here. Find the percentage uncertainty in calculating the kinetic energy of a body of mass m equal to 60.0 plus or minus 0.3 gram moving with a velocity v is equal to 25.0 plus 0.1 centimeter per second. Now first of all we need to write the formula for kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. Okay, now when we talk about percentage errors and all, okay, this half being a constant, it will be ignored. Okay, so I'll simply write here E is equal to half mv square, and what do I need to calculate? I need to find the percentage uncertainty in the kinetic energy. So what I want is delta E upon E is equal to how much? Okay, now what is the data given? The data given is m is equal to 60.0 and delta m is given as 0.3. okay, it is plus or minus. Similarly, my v is equal to 25.0 and delta v is given as 0.1 and again plus or minus. Okay, this is gram and this is centimeter per second. Okay, obviously these units also would be the same, correct? So now what do we do here? Just note that this is product of m and v square, correct? So my delta E upon E would be equal to delta m upon m plus, now it would be twice delta v over v. Now why 2? Because it is v square, okay, and that is why this 2 here, okay, and then that would be multiplied by 100. Okay, so let us substitute. My delta m is how much? Delta m is 0.3 divided by 60 plus twice delta v. So it is 0.1 upon 25, correct? So then how do we do this? So this would be 0.3 upon 60, so that would be 1 upon 200 plus this would be 0.2 upon 25, so it would be how much? So 0.2 upon 25. To make calculation simple, I'll multiply this by 4, so that makes it 100 here, and here also I'll multiply by 4. What about this? I have to divide it by 2 and I'll divide numerator also by 2, so then that would be 0.5 here, 0.5 upon 100 it will be, correct? So it is 0.8 plus 0.5 upon 100. So that would be 1.3 upon 100, correct? So delta E by E is equal to 1.3 upon 100. So now see what is asked over here. Find the percentage uncertainty, correct? So I'll multiply this relative uncertainty by 100 and then that will give me percentage uncertainty. So I'll write my answer like this. Therefore the percentage uncertainty in kinetic energy would be equal to this delta E upon E multiplied by 100. So that would be equal to 1.3 upon 100 into 100. So that would be equal to 1.3%. So that is how we are going to solve numerical problems here in the exam. Okay, in the exam, you might be required to find the absolute uncertainty in kinetic energy. Okay, now in that case, what would you do? With m and v, okay, you will calculate half mv square. Okay, so that is your E. Okay, and then you will multiply that E with delta E upon E, that is 1.3%, and then that will give you that would give you the absolute uncertainty in measurement of kinetic energy. Correct? You will be getting some more problems for practice in the description, which you can attempt and come back to us if you have any doubts in that. Thank you so much.